trying to pull me in, but it's too soon for us. There's so many things that I like to know. Maybe spend some time and just take it slow. Baby, would you like to know?
My friends, welcome back to the Smokey Mirror Podcast, where we dive deep into the creative minds that are shaping our culture and inspiring us all. My name is Jordan Jones. I'm your host and fellow creator, and I'm on a mission to spread knowledge and inspiration to help people like you leave your mark on the world. From artists to musicians to entrepreneurs and more, join me as we explore the intentional act of creation and the forces that drive us to do God's work. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you're on Apple or Spotify, make sure you leave a 5-star comment. And share this with a friend or family member if you find any kind of value. And if you got any artists in your life that you think should be on the podcast, tell them to DM me at scut.smoke or shoot me an email or drop me a comments. Yeah, all that. So anyway, I'm back with my friend Kira. Kira, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Kira, is Kira your stage name or what's your stage name?
I'm just using Kira.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Kira sounds famous.
So the thing is, there's no Kira spelled with my spelling. Do you have anyone that's famous yet? So this is actually could be a longer conversation, but I have Kira culture. But one of my friends even in the past was like, I feel like you should just drop the culture and just stick with Kira, because there's no just Kira, Kira, it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
we got Kira Knightley, we've got Kira with the Y spelling.
We got Shakira.
Right, exactly. We got Shakira, just drop the sh, and then there I am. But yeah, so just Kira.
That's dope. So when you were on here last, we were talking about the Super Bowl, acting, and all of that, but we never really talked about your music side. So tell me, when did you start singing? How's your career been progressing so far?
Yeah, so basically, I grew up in a family of all artists. My dad was a jazz and blues musician, so I always grew up with music and also several influences because I was the youngest. So I had, my brothers were honestly the coolest. I'm so lucky that I had two older brothers, 4 and 6 years older than me, and they were both very different tastes. So my oldest brother was the hip hop head, and then my middle brother was the fish and other stuff. So I was, I had a lot of really good sources for music, and also just my family, my dad's is ultimate blues guy,
all blues.
Yes. Sometimes
school.
when I find I need to ask him to make me a playlist. Some of this music he finds, I'm damn, this shit is good, but never heard it anywhere else though. Only what my dad plays, and then my mom was kind of on the other side too, more folk. She also loved gospel actually. She also was in choir and stuff like that, but she really, the America and those. So I had kind of all the influences, and just I guess in general throughout my life I picked up a little bit of everybody, because my oldest brother was an artist, visual artist, I paint. Both my parents, I wouldn't say they called themselves singers. My mom definitely for more performances, was singing and dancing and more musical theater, not just straight singing, even though she did love gospel. And then my dad, same, he wouldn't call himself a singer, but obviously when you're there, he sang
in the moment,
but he sang, but he wasn't a singer, but he did travel around actually with his band.
Wow.
For my mom would tell me oh yeah, back in the day your dad had a Harley Davidson and a red Corvette and shit and was traveling the world. Hey, yo. I can't picture it, but yeah, apparently that happened.
That's really cool. So you got a really creative and artistic family.
A really creative and artistic family, yeah. I think the kind of thing for me was I had a hard time, part of why I made Kira culture was because in my head it was always you either choose a career that makes you money or you choose being a broke artist. Right. And I was well, I refused to be a broke artist. So I think, for a lot of it, as a dancer, I was going to be a professional dancer. But when you really look into that, it's the least return of reward for your investment out of any literally any profession in the world. Like, ask any dancer. Like, a lot of the people that do it have wealthy families because it's realistically, like, that's the only way you get supported. Like, some of the most prestigious dance companies, like, these dancers are living on food stamps. Like, I was like, that is not my that is not my story. Love you, dance, but, you know, the people that really get through it, like, have support. Right. And, you know, now it's become much more of a commercialized thing where, you know, I mean, you have, like, your main, names that you know of as dancers, but that's really it. And it only started happening more recently, like not when I was, kind of making my decision. But yeah, basically, it was a switch in my mind. Like I had been holding myself back. Like I'm a crippling perfectionist and I was just never ready. I wanted that perfect moment. And I just basically allowed myself to like not be perfect and was like, even if you create a song that's shitty, it'll be yours and you'll be proud of it. Yeah. And honestly, like I can say that it's definitely like one of those moments where I feel I'm exactly where I need to be for like the first time because I allowed myself to kind of do what really I wanted to do. Like I've always wanted to do this, but it was one of those things that's like, yeah, later, like it'll happen. Like, no, okay, like later's now. Because like, where's the time going?
Right.
Like, oh shit, like it's time.
That's
so
awesome.
Basically it started from like a New Year's resolution, I guess. A lot of this came from 2020 because I think a lot of us had a time to like reflect on, and I really thought like, if I were to die tomorrow, like what would I really regret? And that's it. Like, I think it was always hard for me because I did do all the arts. Like I've always done all of them and I've always been pretty naturally inclined to like all sports and all, so it was always like limiting myself and like, to what I wanted to do. But it really was like dance, singing were like two passions. And it was really hard for me to decipher like, what was really my true passion and calling versus what do I just miss because I'm used to doing it? And that's really hard because when you're doing something from the time you're 3 years old, like, of course, like if you don't do it, you're going to miss it. But like, I was like, what's really me? And it really came down to like, the dancers that I know when they're emotional, like what do they go do when they're having like a hard day? They go and they shut the doors, they like turn off the lights, they put on their favorite song and they dance their ass off, And I was like, that was always me for singing. So I always came back to like, if I was upset or like needed that release, like, and don't get me wrong, because that's why I do all these different kind of creative aspects because they all channel different types of energy. But really for me, singing was always that backbone, like what I turned to when I needed something. So that's why I was like, okay, this is your thing. And also, I do fitness, I do all these different things, but everything is so based on music.
Right.
Like it's all based on music because music, controls the energy of a room and, things like that. Like that's how you curate experiences. So that's what it came down to. And then, yeah, the goal of one song became like, oh, wow, like this is actually good. And like, by the way, I'm super picky. I don't like anything. So I'm like, well, if I think it's good, then it must be pretty good. Yeah. Right. And then, yeah, I think started to build a little confidence. And also it was like one of those things, like you can't say it's easy, like everything takes work, but I always try to observe like, where is the universe pushing me? Like I try to be like a little bit of an outsider because I think sometimes we try to direct things too much, but we don't really know what's best for us, So I try to kind of like
just go with the flow.
Right. See what was happening. And it just seemed like it was just working. Like, I'm like, it's not like it's easy to write songs, but why does it feel so like it's just right? Because of course, everything has a process and everything has a learning curve. And by the way, I'm doing a lot of these things for the very first time. So I would by no means say like I'm an expert in this at all yet. And that's the thing too, is like, I feel like I just awoken like the writer and like actually going through that process and then kind of had to put that on hold because I'm trying to get the music out, which a really good friend of mine was like, yeah, it's like 90%, 10% like making the product and then 90% selling it. And I was like, that is so freaking true. Yeah. That is so true. Because that's basically where I'm at. Like, I think I made these songs, like, it's already been like almost a year, I want to say. I'm really bad with time. But yeah, so actually just getting them out, like the processes. And it's also like, I know a lot of people in the industry, like I know a lot of producers, but it's always that funny thing where it's like, when you really comes time to when you need help, like who's actually going to be there?
Right.
And that's been very eye-opening for me because I'm like, I really thought some of these people would have stood up by now and like done some shit. Because like some of these people I've known for like
years,
10, 15 years.
15 years
like,
is a long time.
Like strong relationships with people I would say are like close friends of mine that just didn't do shit.
Damn.
So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how it works. It's like, you can't say people are being haters, but like they know how hard it is. So they're not necessarily going to go out of their way to help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, all right.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of follow-up questions.
Yeah.
One, are you from Florida?
No.
Where are you from?
Ohio.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
What city?
Swag. Oh, yeah, you said that last time. Swag like
Ohio. Yeah.
By the way, my brother sent me that when that came
Did
out.
he?
I'm like, that's how I knew about that.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah.
But yeah, what city?
Ohio memes will never stop. It's
Never.
okay. Keep picking on us. We don't mind.
Where you from? Like Cincinnati?
I'm from Cincinnati. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Cincinnati.
All right. And then so you talked about how 2020 is when you were like first starting to actually record.
Not even record yet. I think that's when I had set the goal for myself, and I don't remember if it was like the following year that was my goal. I guess when I was, I think it was maybe 2021 is when that was like my New Year's resolution kind of thing. And then, so it went from like one song to I wrote 5 songs that year.
Wow.
But then it's like now getting those songs out. So like then I went back like, okay, the EP is going to be 3 songs. They're from this one producer. And then like it kind of made sense together. So I'm starting with those 3, but I actually wrote 5. So those are the ones I'm working on now. But it's hard because I'm like, I want to make more.
Right. You're like,
but I've been like stuck in everything's a process. And obviously like I'm not signed by anyone and I own my own music. So it's all a process.
That's
Copywriting
exciting.
your own music.
Right. So what's the EP going to be called again?
Long time coming.
Long time coming. Yeah. It almost seems like that whole story you just told leads up to, it's been a long time coming, but like I've always wanted to do this and now like, here it is.
It is. And that's actually inspiration from lyrics from Sam Cooke. I don't know if you know about Sam Cooke.
I know Sam Cooke.
Yeah, I mean, most people
He's
know.
the one that,
But blues, like one of my favorite songs of all time. I forget what the actual name of that song, but everybody knows that. Like, we'll find a clip to play.
wait, which one are you talking about? Blues?
It's the so he's like, change, like he's saying in the song, like, change is gonna come. It's been a long time coming.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like one of my favorite, like, I guess, vocal performances you could say of all time. Just like, because that's my type of like, that's me, like that soul that I grew up on. Like I love it. Like that's always what it comes down to. People are like, what type of music do you make? I'm like, it's the hardest thing to say these days because obviously we all have like a million influences. Like even when I had to call my producer, swear to God, when I was like about to distribute it, which by the way I only did 2 days ago, so like to get my date of like when it's gonna drop, I was like, what do I say my music is? Like what is it?
What do you say?
So I said pop and R&B soul.
Nice.
Because it's like, what does pop even mean, first of all?
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
Pop culture.
Pop?
AKA accumulation of whatever you've experienced in your life. Like, I don't know.
So weird.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit
But R&B
weird.
soul, like when you say pop and R&B soul, I kind of get it.
I guess, yeah. Because it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of a rebel, so I was really offended when he was like, "Say pop." I was like, "What are you calling me, Britney Spears?" Like, no offense, Britney, you're great,
we love
but
Britney.
yeah, we love Britney. But like, I don't think of myself as like
Britney Spears,
right? I don't think of myself as like a pop person.
But what if
I don't even really like? Of course, we all love "Toxic" by Britney Spears, like growing up and stuff, and I loved Christina Aguilera. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just don't.
Okay, what if Epic Records calls you up and says, "Kira, we loved it, but you're a pop star. You're gonna be doing pop songs."
Well, that's actually kind of been the fun part of the whole experiences. I mean, I'm just messing around with everything, and I think that we don't. Again, like I don't pretend to know what's right or best for me, or like what will come across best to other people, because you just don't know. So I'm just messing with everything. But even, I mean, like on this EP alone, it's, I would say, still quite a bit of variety. Like, you know, I wanted it to be very conversational, as like when my mom first heard the song, she was like, "Whoa, like this is crazy. Like it sounds like literally having a conversation with you." Because obviously, yes, I wrote the songs. It is very much my words and experiences. But I wanted it to be very, very conversational and like, you know, like where my head's at. So like, for example, you know, the second song I'm releasing after this, I was like, you know, I want it to be kind of more like I'm talking to you, but really what that translates to is it's kind of rapping. Like I'm not rapping, but like, you know, but that's like if you're talking on a beat, like that's kind of what it comes across. So it's like, okay, I wouldn't have said that I'm rapping for sure, but then again, I grew up and all that.
Now you're about to be Cardi B, is what you're saying.
It's so funny. Well, for the difference between me and Cardi B, I would say, and I think she gets away with it, but I'm not like the raunchy type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that makes me very uncomfortable. I'm actually quite traditional.
Nice.
So I love Cardi. I think she's the only one that gets away with it.
I love a little bit of modesty. We could use some conservatism back, right, Chaz?
I'm like I curse a lot, but like, you know, when it comes to like, WAP, I wouldn't be able to feel
Right.
comfortable. Even when I do day to day, I work with a lot of, moms and kids. And like, I'd be like, oh, no.
Yeah, let's not play that song.
You're right. Yeah.
The first two are good. But actually, this has me like excited to hear some of the songs. So you said we can play a little bit of snippet of this song, right?
We can, yeah.
Awesome. Before I play it, is there anything you want to preface?
Is there anything I want to preface?
It's called Lately, correct?
So the name of the song is Lately. What is the song about? Let me take myself back. Yeah, so it's kind of the conversation, and I would say like at the time that I wrote it, it was the most of like even now kind of where I'm at as far as I guess dating and like feeling people out and like people being in a hurry or like that like initial excitement, and you just want to like slow people down, like let's get to know each other, like don't get too crazy. Like I'm also like this person that I'm such an extremist, like I'm all or nothing. So I've learned that I have to just
take it easy sometimes.
Really keep people at a distance, because it's like once I let you in, you're fully in. Like, you know what I mean? I'll give my, shirt off, my whatever you want to say. Like, so I have to be very.
You gotta guard that. Yeah, you can't.
I gotta guard that. Yeah, I gotta guard that. So it's like kind of that playful. I think of it as like kind of a cute, playful song of like when you know you're into somebody, you're getting to know, and you know they're into you, but you're like, let's just.
Vibe.
Feel this out. We don't have to try to take this anywhere, do anything, call it anything. Like, let's just enjoy the like getting to know each other part of the process.
Nice. Okay, I like that a lot. So I'm about to play a little snippet for all y'all
so
out there.
Crazy.
When is this dropping again, Kiera, for everybody? June 7th?
June 7th is actually my birthday.
Oh, right. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
July 7th.
July 7th.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, here we go. Lately.
Song go again?
Tell me what's the deal with ya? Trying to pull me in, but it's too soon for us. There's so many things that I like to know. Maybe spend some time and just take it slow. Baby, would you like to know how to keep me safe and close? We could go off, do whatever we want. We can tell there's something up while we're living.
Sheesh. I had to stop it because I was liking it a lot. I didn't know when to stop.
It's hard, I know.
I wanted to keep letting it rock. That was like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Sheesh. All right, I'm going to stop it right there because I think we should leave people wanting more.
Yeah.
But I was liking what I was hearing. I was actually impressed / surprised by the fidelity of your voice. It was sounding very, almost definitely sounded like you've been singing for a while.
I have been singing my whole life. Yeah. Yeah. There's like a lot of levels to that because I'm very sensitive. I had to basically be at a very comfortable point to be doing this right now. Like I've had to release everything. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was the most important thing to me because I know how much of a perfectionist I am. So I'm like, you know what? If I am at the point where I feel comfortable, you just gotta, I had to work it to the point where like I told, anyone close to me, I'm like, I just want to be at like 80%. Like as long as I'm like 80% cool with it, because I'm never gonna 100%. Like if you know me, like I create art, 2 seconds later, I'm over it. Like I'm like, yeah, then boo, I'm the worst. Like people think I'm being funny. Like even like Suave, my producer who produced and helped write all these songs with me, he was like, man, like I thought you were kind of joking at first, but you need to take it easy on yourself. Like calm down. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm really hard on myself. It's true. I need to be better about that. But yeah, so I was just only hoping to get to 80% liking it, and then I would be good. So I had to like basically kind of talk myself up to like, as long as you can be 80% confident, it's time to like put it out there, and like whatever people think, they think. Like I no longer can be affected by that. So,
there we go.
Yeah.
No, that's good. You can't be too hard on yourself, especially as an artist. It's like it's good to be, serious about your craft and want the best out of it, but it's never going to be perfect, And so you always got to be like.
And how sad would that be if it was, right? Because then what more do we have to learn?
Exactly. And so, let's not dunk on ourselves or be hard on ourselves. Let's, be kind. Like treat your art like you would treat somebody else's. Like you wouldn't just be tearing it apart and saying fuck this. So I definitely I was really liking that. I like the beat. It was definitely giving me some like soulful. You know what I'm saying? I heard the bass line. That shit was nice. Is that produced by Suave?
Suave's so good.
Shout
out to Suave. Honestly.
So
Seriously.
before we go too further, I do want to go back to where you said like other people weren't really showing you some love. What exactly do you mean? Like, what were you expecting that people couldn't deliver?
Honestly, it wasn't even a lot, because that's the thing is like I'm very like, I would say pretty humble because I'm from Ohio, you know.
Right,
I don't really
Ohio.
like. I also am like a pretty guilty person. Like I don't like to ask for a lot because then I feel like I owe people stuff. So I've always been very independent. Like I've worked since I'm 13. You know what I mean? I've always, even with my own family, I would be like not want to ask for money because I just knew how big of a strain it was. So I was like, well, fuck it, we're getting a job. I'm 13. Let's go. Like
Child labor laws.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah. Well, we won't talk about. Yeah, there was some sketchy stuff going on in that place. Also, remember, I'm from Ohio. Okay, this is like they get away with some stuff. I don't know.
So funny.
Yeah, but yeah. Honestly, I just for me it was even more like, because like you have to imagine like background wise, like I'm no stranger to subjective criticism, and I'm very strong because I actually don't know how I have this good of a head on my shoulders after all I've been through. Like we're talking dance, like dancer, like all my dancers out there know what I mean. Dance teachers, sorry, are some of the craziest people. Some like not.
I've seen that show Dance Moms with the one lady. Yeah, nuts.
Like I mean, I'm like what I'm saying is basically like one of my teachers taught me like how to be anorexic, like by telling us how she was anorexic and like what they did, like from the time I was young. So like I was a model, like shout out to the models out there. They know what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's everything's a personality type. And let's just say like in some of those industries, your managers or whoever else, they're not very nice. Like they like, let's think about it. They like to tell beautiful women they're fat and like this is what they do. Right. But I've heard all these things as a model, as a dancer, as you know, so I feel very lucky that I have this good of a head on my shoulders after dealing with all that.
Right. That you haven't had no mental breakdowns?
Yeah, but that's honestly all I ever could hope for. It was just criticism, just opinions. Because I'm like, when, first of all, you're in your own head, because it's like the same, like selecting photos, right? It's really hard when it's you.
Right.
like I can select other people's photos and give them criticism, but like sometimes when it's for yourself, you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna think it sucks because it's me and I'm being critical of myself. So honestly, a lot of times I just want an opinion, like anything, like literally give me something. And when I tell you, I can't say like no one has been supportive. I have like a lot of great friends, but as far as people actually in the industry giving me any type of productive feedback, like there was maybe like, we'll call it like 2 people.
Out of like how many?
Out of so many.
And you're talking about 15 years and you send them to track and they won't even just be like, nah, it's trash.
It would be stuff. It would be comments like, oh, well, what, you thought your first song would be good? Like type shit.
That's crazy.
Or like, oh, you thought it was that easy? I'm like, who said it's easy? Just give me a fucking opinion.
Yeah,
man.
like, yo, that's crazy.
I know, it is. And I hope you know who you are when you hear this. I hope you do feel bad.
She said she want all the smoke. Wow. All right, I'm here for it. Hey, I'm here for it. Kira said,
listen, I'm upfront. I like people who just say things as they are. Like, I have no hidden agendas. Like, anyone in my life, you'll always know where you stand with me. I do not play games. That's it. Just be real, you know. But
no, that's lit.
It's all good.
I have
no hard feelings, by the way. You know, everybody has their reasons and their things, but it's just fun. To me, it's funny. I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so where you at now? You know?
Right. No, that is crazy. People switching up.
As soon as these songs hit, you know, the first million, then all of a sudden people are gonna have opinions. That's what I think is funny because I've been through these things before. Do you know what I mean? It's like, of course, no one wants to help out the no-name Kira, but of course, like once they'll
help out the Kira.
Right.
Yeah. Once Kira is Kira, then it's gonna be like, oh shit, I knew her from way back when.
Just know I never forget.
Yo, so I think for people that don't know, you're a trainer, you're a model, actress.
Yeah.
You got a gig at Soho. That's pretty lit.
Yeah, it's fun.
You left Ohio, came to Miami, and you're like a star now. You're a budding star. Yeah.
Back.
What is like some of the biggest, I don't know, maybe not obstacle is the right word, but just some of the challenges you've faced when you like moving, you know, being in a new city, coming into this industry and really trying to start something new when it wasn't something you've been doing like professionally from your whole life?
Yeah. I mean, I guess in general, being from Ohio, like obviously like cost of living wise, that's like super low, right?
Yeah.
So I would definitely say the constant increase of like, now I basically live in the most expensive city in the world. Like it's definitely been interesting because, I moved from Ohio, Miami, New York, Southeast Asia.
You was in Asia?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Yeah. So that's when I was modeling, and I did like 3-month contracts in every country.
Wow.
So I would do like, I started out in Thailand, Singapore, Jakarta.
Wait, pause. Are you a little Asian?
I'm not.
Wow.
That's everybody's biggest disappointment.
I wasn't disappointed, but I could have seen like a little bit of something.
Yeah.
But okay.
So it's my dad's side. He's Mexican Spanish. So it's the almond eyes is from like indigenous Mexican.
Mm-hmm. Like
people.
Mayan, basically like the Mayan.
Right.
People.
Like I mean, when I did do Ancestry, and it's basically like, indigenous people of anywhere you are look the same. It's basically like Native Americans or like Asians with darker skin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're saying. That's
Basically,
what it is,
yeah.
right? Anywhere you go, like
They just have darker skin. Yeah, literally.
correct. No, seriously, because it's like, like a lot of Russians are like, you look Russian, you're 100% Russian, because the indigenous people of Russia, when they mix with the Europeans, boom, they look like me, right? So it's like everybody has their version of indigenous. So I'm just like indigenous Mexican, like, and
Cool.
when you on my Ancestry, it's like every kind, like Southern, Northern, Chihuahua, like it's all in
Wow.
there.
You speak Spanish?
I don't, sorry.
Damn, I was gonna say
I know it's
some Latina
so
music.
bad.
That would be hitting.
I know, right? It's kind of actually, it's funny. But yeah, no, un poquito. I'm worse. I sound it's bad.
Sure,
It's real bad.
That's where the Ohio comes in, right there.
It's actually really funny because, I blame my dad fully for this. But really, my dad is one of 13 kids. And this is something for me that blows my mind, because like how long ago they had to, to reach it here to have this super mixed girl
Right.
now, in this time. So yeah, he's one of the youngest, and he's like 79.
Wow.
So just think about how long ago that was. Like this is like the 10s and 20s.
So your dad is 79.
Settling in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's one of the youngest.
That's crazy. You have older brothers, sisters, or just you?
I have 2 older brothers.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just mind blowing to me.
That is mind blowing. Let's
But-
get back to the EP, because I do have
Tell
some
me
questions about the other
Other
songs.
songs, yeah.
So we heard Lately, and I do like how that one was like a little bit of dating, a little bit of.
It's flirty. It's
Yeah,
a
a
little flirty,
little flirty.
right? Yeah, that's how I feel about
Let's
it.
talk about the other ones. We have
Yeah, the third.
Just Cuz is the first one.
That's the first one. I'll be releasing that one last. And then, so the next one I'm releasing is New Bag is the name of it. That's kind of just like, I was kind of calling it my manifestation song. It's like kind of the feeling of like being in my own freedom, I guess I would say. Because I've never, it took me this long to kind of just do me, So it's kind of like that, living in like new bag. Like this is it. Like this is what it is. This is my lifestyle now. Kind of claiming that.
I like that.
And it's a fun song, and that's kind of like the talk rappy one. I talk hella fast in that song.
Damn, I'm interested to hear.
There's so many words in that song. Oh my god! And I think it's only like a 2-minute and 12-second song, something
Wow.
like that. And it's like a lot of words in there, a lot of words, a lot of content.
Wow, I'm really excited to hear that. I like that one because I really feel that manifestation song. Sometimes I'll be dabbling in making music. I'll be making music just to get my mind right for what I want to be true in my life. Because I think it is
Correct.
It's a nice way to have something you're chanting almost like
Yeah.
over and over
And
again.
it is.
Yeah.
And you think about like hip hop culture and stuff like that too. And it's like, that's what they're doing. Like they're just claiming that shit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the easiest way to put it. So it's just like you have to own it to be it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very much more like the humble kind of, but it's like, no, you got to like own that shit, you
Yeah.
know? And then the first song was the first song that I wrote. And I hate this because we don't want to give these men too much credit.
Hey, chill.
But
What's wrong
yeah,
with
no. No, but it is that like vulnerable heartbreak song that like everyone can relate to. But that was actually the hardest part, I would say, for me to figure out is like the order to release them, because it's definitely the first song on the EP. But I would say like as far as like the type of music I will be making, I would say like a pretty small percentage would be like this kind of vulnerable, heart-wrenching stuff. But I think it's important to show that side of yourself and expose yourself in that way for people to really relate to you, because we can all relate to the heartbreak, honey. We've all been there, like, and it's rough. It was a rough one. So, I mean, even now I can't really relate to my own song. I relate to my own song. Definitely the second two on the album much more like now, like where I am than the first one. I'm like, damn, I'm about to go back in the recorded studio to finish that one, and actually the rest of the EP in LA like soon, finally, thank God. Shout out to Mark, because I was looking for a mix and master. So this is part of the struggle that I was telling you about, like talking about the 90% doing it, 10% selling it kind of thing. Like as far as the process of me writing and creating the songs actually took like no time. Like,
right, that's like the easy part.
No time. It was finding someone, because obviously it's just like video editing. Like no one wants to do it. Like it's so tedious, you know, and like finding people that are really good at it. Also not that easy. And also finding people that, again, just aren't being side
motivated, like
no, just being like shady, like actually like being like, yeah, you're not shit.
Damn.
So like why would I want to work on your shit? Who are you again? You know? So yeah, no, it's okay. It's all good. I get it. But it's it's funny because it's just taken that long. So yeah, I'll be finishing those songs. I got to get back on those feels, you know? But it is one of those things where if you're in that right, like you need to cry it out type thing, it's one of those songs that can get you there. Nice. It made me cry. Wow. When I first I was like, oh damn, yeah, no, it hits.
Damn. Okay. I mean, this is really gonna be a heavy hitting EP. We've got different flavors, but all of them are coming with like real passion.
Yeah, I'm very much a passionate person, definitely. If there's one thing to know about me, very passionate. And when I put myself into something, it's like my full self. Yeah, that's, I guess I would say the hardest part of this whole thing is, obviously I'm very emotionally charged throughout the whole process, but that's what makes some of this like rejection and stuff difficult. Like as much as it literally feels like a relationship, or, you know, you're being rejected by a guy you really like or something like that. Like when I tell you like, it hasn't been easy, but it would be like I would just be like, yeah, you don't deserve me anyway. Fuck off. You know, like just like that relationship vibe. You're like, well, you're not giving me reciprocal energy. I'm out. So
fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
how would you know, or maybe this is a better question, what does success look like when we drop it?
That's a really good question. I don't know that I even know the answer to that. I think I'm a person who kind of saves excitement until like right when something's happening. So I don't even think I've honestly had, I don't even know when it's like the reality is going to set in for me. I think definitely once I'm finishing like actually like completing the album and like know it's actually a mix and master. Cause I already did the music video for the first song like a while back, but still waiting on kind of the final edits of it. I don't know when that's going to hit. What success looks for, I honestly really think that I will be successful. I actually feel fully confident in that. But as far as like knowing, I heard if anybody knows how to get on playlists, help like me.
Spotify playlist?
Yeah, people say it's really important to get on the Spotify playlist. So, like that's number one. So the one friend I do have that was like really the most helpful as far as information is because he also does it all himself. He doesn't have a label. Shout out to Nico, one of the most talented people I literally know hands down. Like he does all of it himself. Like when I'm saying the graphic designs, the music videos, like everything, which I also directed, produced, everything my own music videos, styled, all that. But he like edits them all himself and everything. Like it's crazy. And also he plays a bunch of instruments and stuff like that.
Shout out to that guy.
So, yeah. Blood Orchid. Listen to him. Tell him I sent you. Yeah, no, he deserves it. He works really hard, but he was one person that was kind of giving me some solid advice. Like, so, okay, I recommend you do this. Like, just make sure it's really about obviously we know content's so important. So that's really was his main advice is like, just make sure you have video assets and things, at least kind of 4 different things to pair with each release. So, one of the 4 tracks and then you just push that one,
Are you ready for? Oh, go ahead. No. I was gonna say, are you ready to get back in the posting grind? I know you haven't been posting on IG.
That's the biggest cloud hanging over my head right now. I'm ready because I have to be ready.
Yeah,
it's already playing out in my mind. A lot of things are planned here first, and then I just kind of plug them in. But yeah, that's the next big step. So a big social media push, just getting everything out there. And currently my I am Kira Alvarado has been kind of like my personal, like it was modeling. Kind of switched over to more lifestyle. Obviously, I do still model, but I don't think I've ever really associated with model per se, just because I've always been an artist and do so many other things, and I'm not really like a yes girl. Okay, sure. Yeah, let's do it. Like, it's not really my personality.
Yeah.
So
That's like the old model stigma though.
honestly though, but I think it's because I also traveled to Asia. I mean, realistically, that's when I
Yeah.
really realized, like, I'm outspoken for an American. So just imagine in some of these other cultures, I really learned, like, okay, Kira, just like
Right.
smile and nod.
Shut the
That's
hell
all I
up.
want. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's really just play nice. Um, it's good. It's a good experience though. It's a good learning because I mean, think also what I really realized traveling in Asia is how rude Americans sound a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What? Like,
Yeah.
I really caught myself. I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound very good. Excuse me, pardon me. Like, that's.
Excuse me.
I learned how to be a little bit more, aware of like the way I came across to other people. But
Come a long way since Ohio.
I know, right?
That shit's
It's
funny.
so true. But actually, I was just having this conversation earlier. But I don't really. It's like one of those things where I was very much from there, but very much always knew there was more, and that I didn't fit in. If that makes sense. So I was always looking for something, and I never knew what it was until I switched like schools, basically. So when I was in high school, so I'm from a very cookie cutter town called Loveland, literally Loveland, Ohio.
Loveland. That sounds like a nice place to
I
live.
know, right? It's funny. But yeah, I'm from a town called Loveland. But basically, in like 9th grade, I was kind of like a floater. I didn't really I knew everyone, but I didn't really like have a place. I was like friends with the band nerds, friends with the cheerleaders, friends with the, the jocks or whatever. But I was just like floating. I wasn't really like, but I was just like, there was always something missing. So basically, I found that when I switched over to creative and performing arts. I don't know if you're familiar with SCPA, but it's actually the first performing arts high school in the country, in the U.S.
SCPA?
SCPA, and it's in Ohio. So that's where
Wow.
I went to school. But I guess it was basically just to say that when I found that creative energy and environment, that's what I was missing. I was like, I could feel it. And I was like, yes, I'm home. Like, this is it. And to this day, it's still one of the best experiences I had.
Wow.
Because it's just like, there's a lot of talented people from Ohio. Like, a lot. Like, the people don't even know about, like, Sarah Jessica Parker, Nick Lachey. They all went to my school. Carmen Electra. They went to my
Carmen
same high
Electra
school.
went to your
She
school?
went to my same high school.
Damn.
I mean, obviously not in the same year.
Right, obviously not. Bro, imagine going to high school with Carmen
Right.
Electra. Whoa.
I know.
I would have had trouble
Distracted,
concentrating.
I
Yeah,
know.
distracted.
What school?
Yeah, school. What?
Is that where I am?
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
cool. So you basically you knew you were destined for greatness.
Sure, we'll say that.
Yeah, why
I love
not?
to sound that confident.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, I just always knew there was something else. And I also knew I was very aware how different I was too. Because you have to imagine, like, I'm from Ohio. I kind of look exotic, right? Like, my mom had blonde hair, blue eyes, and my dad had like dark skin, dark hair. Like, they couldn't have been
Crazy.
more opposite.
Yeah.
But I was with obviously mostly my mom, and she would anywhere we'd go. My poor mom, are you adopted? Are you? And I can't, people
Damn.
don't realize like how that affects a kid. Like, I heard
Right.
this my entire life.
Are you adopted?
So
Chill.
I
My
just-
mom's
yes,
right here.
exactly. So I was just, and my mom's like, yeah, no, trust me, it hurt a lot. I birthed her. Like,
Right.
don't take that away
I
from
was
me.
there, goddammit.
I was just, crying my soul out until a
Crazy.
baby was crying and alive. Yeah. So yeah, it was one of those things that I was very aware that I was very different.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, even when I went from a predominantly white school to predominantly black school, there was still no Latinos,
Right, I'm gonna say it's still gonna be different.
It was funny because I didn't, I would wear actually like bandanas and like loop earrings, and I'd not even realize. I was like, okay, I'm doing the full aesthetic, not even knowing.
Yeah, like, oh shit, I didn't even know.
Yeah, and then like the mini J-Lo that I didn't even know.
That's funny.
It's so funny because I didn't have any of that example. I didn't know. I was just like, oh yeah, this is my style.
I definitely feel like you got the image to be a singer too, because you're always coming stylish.
Oh, thank you.
So I feel like you almost have like everything you need to be a successful
you.
artist. I feel like the look is sometimes the hardest part for people. They might sound good, but they might not look good.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. I guess I'm definitely still trying to find, because, I did produce the photo shoots and everything. That's definitely something I'm still finding my, how exactly to come across as specifically an artist. Because obviously I've done the modeling.
Mm-hmm.
And, like Suave even will see some of my photos and be like, yeah, this kind of looks more like model Kira. You might want to, just...
Artist it up a little bit.
Right, exactly. So finding my little niche as an artist is its own...
I actually am. We're about to wrap up, but I am interested about like your producing and like directing process when you're doing like the shoots or like the music video. Like, what's going through your head when you're thinking about that?
So it's just a lot of preparation. like everything. Yeah, because basically by the time it's showtime, you already know exactly what you're doing. It's just like choreography at that point. And that's the thing, is because I've had a background in so many things. It's like when I'm even making a song, I'm already envisioning, because I'm very visual, so I'm already envisioning what visuals go with that, you know. So that's already like very much a part of it's like not even like something that's forced at all. It's like even when I hear music, it's like after being a dancer that has done Nutcracker like 110 10 times, like you visualize those dances when you hear the song, like no matter what you want to do. So it's like it's always been the same. Anytime I hear music, I see movement and like visuals. So that was like very natural. So even as I'm like writing the songs, I knew kind of like what I wanted. So yeah, it's basically just putting together all the visuals, and still the part I can't say I've mastered is getting the whole team to understand
Right. Tell
what
them the vision.
exactly the vision is.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to be better and better about that. But yeah, just getting all the kind of visual assets of like, this is the makeup look, this is the hair look, this is what the clothing will be like. And like I'm like very specific though. I'm like, for these words I want, this is the frame I want, this is like what's going to be happening. And usually I put that in some kind of document that's communicated with everyone, and then like once it's go time. But I think that's the hard part, is because for me it's very natural. Like I've done a lot of productions where I'm like the talent and the producer and the whatever, so for me that's very easy. But I don't know for a lot of people if it's very easy for them to understand.
Right.
So I think that's the harder part, is just always communication is the most difficult thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because when I say something and you say something, the same thing, it could mean totally different things to us. So I think creatively, especially, because obviously it's aesthetic is aesthetic and taste is taste, but it doesn't mean we all have the same aesthetic and taste.
Right.
So yeah, I would say that's something I'm still mastering. So we'll see. I'm first music video in, still trying to get the edits I want. So
That's funny as hell.
be
So we got
determined.
long time coming, dropping on July 7th. 7/7/2023.
I like that.
I'm excited. This is going to be a great drop. Kira, tell everybody where they can find you at, where they can find the EP.
Yeah, so I'll be sharing. It's for Instagram at I am Kira Alvarado, and my artist name on Spotify will be Kira, just my first name, Kira.
Lit.
Yeah, we're gonna change all the branding to Kira. So I'm definitely gonna drop, hopefully on this video too, the little link to pre-save the Spotify song. So the first song, the single, Lately, will be dropping on July 7th. So we'll give you like that pre-save link. Give it a listen, give it a share, support your girl, because she's a totally independent artist doing this herself.
Lit. That's lit.
Literally can't pretend I know what I'm doing, but we're doing it. That's the most important part.
That's the most important part.
So.
Put yourself out there and let's see what happens. I'm excited from that snippet. I'm already like, I know it's gonna be a hit. So
I'm so excited.
Kira, I'm glad you're on. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Everybody like, share, subscribe. See you soon.
Support us.